All right, everybody, I'm coming on. Maybe I'll play. Let me play an intro. Hang on. Hold, please. Let me get this off. There we go. Hey, everybody, it's Kate Richburg. Do you ever have one of those mornings where nothing goes your way, right? So I'm going to shake it off. I'm going to put on some lipstick. My desk is a mess, but that's what Saturdays are all about. This isn't quite the right color. Let's see. This is Twig. You folks remember Twig from back in the day? Old school MAC. It's a little bit of a nude though. So let me put this one on. All right. Oh. Okay. Let me get your comments over here. Oh, good Lord. I know. I knew you could hear me too. Let me just return this text. Hang on. Texting. Hang on. Oh, Saturdays. Okay. Ta-da! All right, I will get back to the rest of this later. All right, hey, everyone. At least I got earrings on. I went on my like a big walk this morning, right? To just kind of walk it out. I mean, it's fun. I'm fine. I just thought that I knew. See, I've got this box here. I'll show you. I've got this box that says Bead Embroidery, right? And I'm looking for the bead embroidery samples. And you'd think they'd be in this box called Bead Embroidery. No. So that's okay. I've got enough things to share with you, enough things to show, but I was super irritated. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just get off on the wrong side of the bed. Oh, look, I see that. We broke 89,000. That's so awesome. Let me change. I don't know why this, our brand color keeps changing. There we go. And it needs to go like that. There we are. Okay. StreamYard kind of keeps changing around, right? Okay. So here I am. I'm going to look one more place for that bead embroidery, right? Because I had it. You know how it is? It's like you have it and it's right frickin' here, but it's not. Oh, that's so irritating. But anyway, let me make sure it's not on here. So many necklaces, so little time, right? It's not on the board. It's not on this board. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. Whoops, something just fell. You folks aren't going to worry about it. I've got enough to show you. Okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. Where's my coffee? Tina, my coffee's right here in this Alfred mug. All right, here we go. And that's why I said I'd do this stitch-in, because I feel like, I'm telling you, I feel like I'm just in a vacuum, right? Where I'm just, I don't know. I need to connect with you people. So I'm glad that you're all here today, because today I need you. No, these aren't there. Ooh, but I've got a lot of beaded beads. I'll show you those. All right, let me get my camera done. Whatever. What are you going to do? Let me wrap up some cords. Let's see. My mom's like, look on the floor. You know, my mom was not feeling good, but I'm glad she just texted me too and told me she was feeling better. So that's good. Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas here. So yeah, everyone just relax, grab your coffee, grab your, a project and settle in. I'm going to put this in the drawer. Remind me when I'm looking for this thing, my second phone cord, let me remind me that it's in there. I'm going to put these lipsticks with these other lipsticks that are in here. Let's see. This one is, Ruby Woo. Let me put on a layer of Ruby Woo. Nothing that a layer of red. There, that's a little bit better, right? All right. I like that. All right. Oh, good. Sabrina, you're really interested in beaded beads. That's great. We'll talk a little bit about those too. There we go. It's a little bit better. Again, nothing that a little bit of red lipstick can't fix. Today's just, dose of realness, right? Right. That's plugged in. Let me add my camo camera in. I am not prepared at all today. At all. So apologies. I felt like I was, and then everything kind of went sideways, but whatever. What are you going to do? Okay. And how many of you? Oh my God, there's like 100 of you watching me flail around. Get it together, Richburg. Okay, let me add this other camera. Yeah, I say the same thing. We want my mom to be around a long time. My mom just turned 80. I just turned 59. I can't believe it. Where does the time go? I'll tell you what. Here we go. Janice is bringing her goddaughter to the airport today. Her goddaughter has some, she was visiting and now she's doing some other work stuff. So Janice may pop in. You never know. She might. But she deserves, we've been hopping this week. So yeah, so she deserves all the rest that she can today. Okay. Let me add this camera in. Let me do that. Let's do this. Okay. What's up with this background? Sorry. Oh, happy birthday, Lorraine. Love it. Love it. Many more healthy years to you. Let me see if I can get the background right. I don't know why these fall out. There we go. That's better. I like it. Okay. So I have first, let me show you a couple of things. Let me make this one bigger. Hang on. That's no. This? No. That's not it. This one? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Let me show you what I've got here. We're going to look at this stuff in a second. But you folks are loving, yeah, this is the correct. You folks are loving the sewing class that I'm doing. I already have, I don't know, 25 of you have signed up already. Oh my goodness. I'm a little blown out of the water by it. Pleasantly so, for sure. So that date, for those of you who don't know about it, that date is, I think it's October 25th. Let me just double check here. It is. It's Saturday, October 25th. And we're going to be going over the ins and outs of your sewing machine. Okay. So it's going to be a 2 to 3 hour, it officially is a 2-hour class, but we'll probably have like an hour of Q&A and like extra stuff, and you know how I am. So it's going to be a lot of fun. What we're doing is we're hosting it in what I'm calling our virtual classroom. It's all going to be via Zoom. There's some Zoom, some instruction. If you go to the page, it's linked on the homepage of Bead Shop. If you go to the page, you can sign up there. And then there's some kind of like Zoom tips and stuff. I'm going to send out before the class, probably about 2 weeks before the class, just some, the Zoom link so you can practice getting on Zoom, stuff like that. And yeah, so that's going to be that. You will have access to the recording in perpetuity. So I think I have worked out the technology that this the video will actually live on our Bead Shop website. It'll be password protected, so those of you who attend the class will be able to watch it again. So that'll be up there for you to for you to access. I'm also toying with the idea for the sewing classes and sewing content to make a dedicated like email line, like we were joking last week how it's like a bat signal, right? We put out the bat signal and Emily comes to our rescue. Let me take this one down here. If there are specific questions about like sewing and sewing content, I may make a special email so they all go into one place. So like those questions kind of go. So that'll all be worked out before the class. Then we're going to move on to more advanced content, right? So yeah, we're going to have great info. We're going to talk about, what needles to use, your bobbin tension, all of that. And Sharon, all the better. If a sewing machine is so cheap, there's literally no name on it. Doesn't matter. No shame in your sewing machine game, right? We're going to talk about, different needles. My mom is jumping in and saying, using the correct needle can make a huge difference. So even if you have been sewing for a while, I'm going to drop some pearls of wisdom in there that's going to make your sewing journey a little bit easier. Then afterwards, the first 2 projects I'm going to do is, you folks have asked me, and a lot of you have like emailed, which I love. Thank you so much. You saw I made this tote in my buddy Laura's class. My buddy Laura Wheeler, she taught a class to our Fiber Guild last weekend. This time I was sewing with my sewing sisters. It was awesome. But this week I am beading with my beading sisters and brothers, so that's great. So we did a painted face, and several of you have asked about this image. So this is my original image. I painted it from scratch. No template, no nothing. I just drew it under Laura's tutelage, of course, her expert tutelage, which was great. And so what I'm going to do later today, this is painted on canvas, like a canvas. Was something that I learned. You can get like a pad of canvas paper that's actually canvas with gesso on the top, right? And it's terrific. You just paint right on it. It was wonderful. So, and then we used it. We were to either put it on a tote bag. So I used my tote bag pattern, or you can make a wall hanging out of it. So later today, I'm going to take off the patches and stuff that I made and take this painting off the tote, right? And I'm going to make some printouts of it. I'm going to print it on fabric. So that in the tote class, if you want, you can buy the same patch. I'm going to do a kit. So it'll have the patch. If you just want to do the patch, to have the patch and do your own stuff, that's fine too. But in the kit, I'm going to get these exact same handles. I love them. I've had them in my stash for a while and I love them, love them, love them. Sometimes I rivet my handles on, but these are sew on. The quality is great. But I'm going to teach you my tote bag where it's lined, it's all in one, and then it kind of comes on the outside. It's easy for you to sew in. We might do a little bit of quilting on the tote, right? So, yes. So, Lorraine, thank you for the question. Yes, that sewing machine class will lead you right into this class. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draft the tote so it's a little shorter, I think. I mean, you could make it longer, but I think we're going to make the tote a little bit more like a handbag, like this. And then we'll have, so it'll kind of be the Frida patch will be the front. So it'll be fun. And 100% after that sewing machine, this is my beginning tote bag class. And it's great. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, so you'll be able to make it. I'm going to go look for fabric actually, today. And yeah, of course, Linda, 100%. If you don't need the basic class, if you're a sewer already, the tote bag class is right there. Yeah, and I will sell this as a picture. You can buy just the patch as well. Okay, so, and yeah, we buy the handles. The handles are going to come pre-made. I have a nice supplier who I get those from, and hopefully I can get them in some different colors as well. So I'm going to look for some good fabric for the tote. You don't have to buy the kit. You could provide your own stuff. But sometimes I think that having the tote, having all the stuff in a kit makes it a little bit easier. So yeah, and then we'll graduate to the sewing the top I made in France, all of that stuff. So yeah, and you can put your own straps, all of that. I just kind of like how this looks like a handbag. So I'll show you if you want to get webbing and all of that. And these handles are hand stitched on. They're pre-perforated. But the Singer, really good question here, Cindy. The Singer that I'm going to be demoing, the one that we have on our Amazon store, the 4452, and I know my mom will agree, 100% it will sew these and also sew webbing. So yeah, I could make another strap option if you wanted a crossbody, but I think we'll start with this. I have some other totes that I do. The Fiber Arts Guild, Fresno Fiber Arts Guild, I'm teaching a class in April, maybe. So I'll put that up too. Margaret Sloan, the sewing machine that I'm sewing, it's $200. It's $2. I'm not selling it. The link is on our Amazon store. And it's a great one. It's a great, great, great one. And yeah, I'll sell the handles separately for sure. Okay. So I'll see what I can get. But that's coming down the pike. I'll probably do it in um in maybe later, maybe in November. I'll see how our fall shakes out, but why not? Let's jump in, right? I'll get all of that taken care of. So yeah, let me see if I can go on to hold please. Let me go to the home page here. That's not the home page. Hang on. Let me do this. Okay, if we go to social media, we go to Amazon shop recommendations. I go right here, Kate Starter sewing machine recommendations. This is the heavy duty. I have the 4452 on here. I'm going to drop the link right here in the chat. That is the affiliate link right there. That's the one that I'm going to be using, and I'll probably use to sew most of our sewing classes on, though I do have a stable of machines and vintage machines and stuff that I'll be busting out as well. But it's really it's really accessible, and it's a good one. And it comes with the 4452 comes with a walking foot and a one-step buttonhole. So a walking foot, as you'll discover, when we're like quilting heavier duty, like heavier fabrics or canvas, this has some foam padding in it. A walking foot, it's an even feed machine, so it feeds your fabric through evenly. So all of that will be in the sewing machine class. But anyway, I wanted to let you know about that. Okay, and Janice is here. Hello, JP. I hope that your airport run was good. Let me go here. Okay. And thanks, Ma. Yeah, my mom has a semi-industrial. I have one too. Mine's a Sailrite. My mom's yours is a brother, I think, Ma. But they are only straight stitch. The 4452 can zigzag. It has a lot of other decorative stitches. And thank you, Janice, for putting that up. And I will take as many as the class will hold. It's all in Zoom. It will be fine. During the pandemic, we learned a lot, or I learned a lot about teaching via Zoom. I had a virtual classroom for all my metalsmithing stuff. So it was great. It really, I was able to reach people all over the world, right? So it's time to bring that back. You know what I mean? One other thing is, if you have another machine that doesn't have a walking foot, right? You can get a walking foot for your machine, and I'll show you. You have to determine if your machine is a high shank or a low shank. And yeah, so don't worry. That's all going to happen. And for quilting, I have a quilting idea that I want to do with you. And CR, thanks for asking. The recommended attachable table for that singer. Ma, do you have that table? I bought a table, and then I promise you we'll get to bead embroidery, but I bought a extension table, they're called, for my featherweight. They make one. And I love it. I thought I would use it a lot more, to be honest. I have a friend who gave me her extension table for um, the Viking I have. I uh, I have one. Anyway, I have like three. The gist of this is that I don't use it as much as I thought I would, to be honest. What an extension table does, for those of you who don't know that lingo, your sewing machine, usually the base, there's a base, and sometimes there's a base that comes off, so it's a free arm, where that means that you can get like smaller circumferences under that. An extension table is really great when you're quilting because it's a table that just kind of slides on, has little feet, and it makes your sewing surface a little bit larger, right? I thought I would use mine more for my featherweight. Maybe I'm just lazy and I don't put it up. I don't know. That could be it too. What I would do is I would get your machine first. And if you feel like you need that extension table, because I sew bags a lot on my Sailrite. My Sailrite is not a free arm. It's a semi-industrial, and it has no extension. It's not in a flat, a lot of industrial machines are kind of in a big flat table. So I don't really miss it. But, I learned to sew like on a bare bones machine, right? We didn't have anything too fancy, right? So I might hold off on the extension. I'll show you the extension tables. I'll set up my featherweight. I think I'm going to have to do my class like in my dining room to have all my stuff, right? But anyway, so make the decision after the sewing class, I would say. But that's my suggestion. But CR, you do a lot of like clothing stuff. So, but extension tables, I mean, they're not exorbitant. But they're nice to have them when you want one. Oh, I love this comment, Wendy. This is great. I was just going to brag on my dad for a minute. He built me a custom sewing cabinet that opens out to an 8-foot length because I was sewing all my own curtains for a few years. That's awesome. My mom is saying here, extension tables are great if you're quilting a quilt. I have several and I don't use them as often. The extension table for the 4452 is $35. I would wait. Yeah. Karen K, same girl. I went to service my Singer and the man offered to take it off my hands for $50. Yeah, no. You can also look on your marketplace, like your Facebook marketplace. There was actually a couple in my Buy Nothing group. People get rid of their old Singers often because they just don't want the old machines. Those old Singers, and you probably have like a great, like I call them old dudes, but I've got my friend Miranda's partner, Jojo, if you're in the Fresno area, she's a great one to service your machine, all mechanical. You can get it serviced and it will last forever. That's why I love sewing on those old Singers. So get a pad of paper and write down either a featherweight, which is a 221. Mom, correct me if I'm wrong. A featherweight is good. Straight stitch only, but that sucker is amazing. You can get a 301, which I have, a 401, and the one that's in this picture this is another one from my stable. I'll have to look up. Let me look it up. Let me look it up right now. I'm just going to do a quick turquoise Singer 1960s. Let me get you that. It's a 337 is what it is. That's what's in that picture. a 337. On eBay, there's one right now, and it's $129. It works with case. So, yeah, you can. Whoops, where's the broadcast? There it is. So that one's a 337. So, yeah. Oh, Joe, I love this. Thank you for piping in. You bought a Singer 4432. A 4432 is also great. It just has a few more stitches than the 4452. You put your fancy Viking away, and I just use a Singer. Same. My mom has a fancy Pfaff, and she uses that. So the cool thing about those Singers, and I'm not being compensated in any way other than if you buy it through our affiliate link on Amazon. But the cool thing is the outer is plastic. Of course, they don't make many metal machines anymore nowadays. Some, but not a lot. But the inside, the guts of the machine is all metal. So yeah, it's a good one. And the cool thing about Amazon is if it's not right, just send it back, right? Yeah. Do not. Oh, it's Andy. Awesome. I love how you're using Joe's account. Well, either way, thank you, Andy, for that. Yeah, love. Let's see, anything else about, yeah, I love it. Okay. So I think, Janice, I've never known anyone who needed more than one machine. I'm so out of it. Janice, not at all. You know how I love tools. Well, a sewing machine's just another tool, right? It's really true. Okay, so we will, and yeah, the computerized machines. I mean, I have a computerized brother that I love. My embroidery machine is a computerized machine. No shade against, a computerized machine. Love. So, whatever you have, we are going to find it. But yeah, there are, Sharon, loads of machines on Facebook Marketplace. My suggestion to you is bring some fabric with you that maybe is a little heavier, or even just some quilting cotton or something. Double it over. Make sure that you can sew on it before you pick it up, right? Just to make sure, right? It doesn't hurt, right? Facebook Marketplace is a great place to find those. You can also, if you have a local Buy Nothing group, sometimes people put those machines up there as well. So, and go to your local sewing machine dealer. A lot of times, that's how I got my embroidery machine. My embroidery machine that I purchased a few years ago, brand new, would have cost as much as a car. Well, an economy car, but still, right? A lot of people, they get their embroidery machines and then they trade up, right? And then your sewing machine dealer is left with these used machines, right? Yeah, like my mom is saying, you can spend 16 grand on a machine. More if it's an embroidery machine, right? You can totally spend a ton of money, right? But if you go, like right now, AVS, Authorized Vac and Sew, is having the 50th anniversary sale. I'm going to go a little bit later on today, not buying a machine though. But they have a whole bunch of used machines that they got to move. They got to move them out because they take up room. So if you go to your local Vac and Sew, they will have some trade-ins and I'm sure they've been serviced and ready to go. So that's another great place to get like a higher end machine, right? Mm. Trudy, also good, a Nextdoor community group, and you can put it out there in Nextdoor and see if anyone is unloading a sewing machine. Because we actually I have one more sewing machine that's been in storage. It's Chris's mom's machine that she had in the 60s. It's a pink and white machine. And I can't remember the brand. It might be a white, it might be a Necky. I'm not sure. But it's gorgeous and it sews beautifully. I have that one in storage along with some Vikings and other things. So yeah, you never ever know. Oh, yes, at the sewing craft room, right? That dream box. Have you seen the dream box? Oh my God, that's like, I want, I want the dream box. It's this big thing that you put in your sewing room, right? And it has all the stuff. Don't get me started. I can't have a dream box. Oh my God, I want it. I want it. But you know what? I don't need any more things. But anyway, all right. So much more sewing content coming in the class. Yeah, Wendy, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't know the dream box, take a look at it. It's like, I kind of want to make my own out of like used trunks and stuff, right? I kind of want to make my own vintage looking dream box, but I don't know. I don't know. Right? I don't know. I have the want gene for sure. Yes, I agree. Linda, if you have a Bernina that is mechanical, do not trade that in, right? Just don't. Keep it. And do not buy a $27,000 machine. I mean, no shame, right? If you want a $27,000 machine, more power to you. But yeah. So someone else was mentioning I think it's the one my mom has. The what was it? It was one of the ones that you have, Ma. The Memory Craft. Don't you have a Memory Craft? I think you do. I think my mom has one. So yeah. Oh, Google that dream box. Google it right now. You're going to thank me later. It's going to be bad. Okay. Let's get to embroidery, shall we? Okay. So I grabbed some things. My mind has kind of been swimming around all over about what I kind of want to do with this embroidery. If you have gathered all of the different kind of embroidery things that are bead embroidery stuff that we've put out there for you, here's a little bit of Gatsby mix left over. Or no, this was Gatsby 2. I don't think I have any more Gatsby mix left. I might have hoarded one, but I hid it. I put it so far away that I can't find it. These were for the Great Bead Extravaganza, for the bead embroidery stuff. We had some sequins. This stuff is going to come back, the sequins and stuff. I have them also. I still have them in these little tins, right? These little things that I've been kind of using. I really need, oh, there's no, yeah, this is Gatsby 2 as well here, I think. I really need to get these organized, but you know what? Piling in these things for now really works for me, I guess, you know. But we did this fall carnival mix, and I wanted to kind of dive deep into it. I have this piece here back when we taught bead embroidery back in the brick and mortar days of bead shop. We had a lot of these really cool stampings that I would love to sell again. These were from Guyot, I think. You can see there's a little bit of patina on there, but I'm keeping it. But we used to sell these in the store. These are old stampings from Providence. Guyot was bought out by another company. You know, Providence, Rhode Island, as you've heard me say before, was really the epicenter of American costume jewelry. Now it's shrinking smaller and smaller. The company is getting absorbed by other companies. So I'll see if we can find, these are old, these Art Nouveau kind of pieces, which I love. But these would be great to have for bead embroidery, just to add it to the list of things that Janice and I want to find. But this is a giant brooch, a giant pin that I did a while back. And really simple. This is just that running stitch. Some of it might be couching, right? Basically, the way that this was done was I got a stiff background, probably felt, I think, right? Like that. And then I glued these on as a, you know, so I knew where those went. I think I outlined the shape. So from these, all the rest of this kind of evolved from there, right? So achieving something like this, and then it has the picot, and the picot was attached on the back. This is, I think this was suede, right? Probably back in the day from like Tandy leather or whatever, and the pin back is buried in there. So something like this would also make a really kind of cool, like cuff like this, you know. JP, I bet we can find it. One of our old vendors back in New York still may have it back, still may have some of these that we can add in. So we'll see there. Yeah. Someday, maybe during the sewing broadcast, my mom will tell the story about how she bought a pallet of used sewing machines, of which I still have 4. Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely get the cameos. We'll look for these. Lacy stiff stuff, you know, I'll look. I have some foundation, and I'm still kind of on the fence with it. This is that beading foundation that we get from Beadsmith, right? Which is nice. We could get it. I've also been using that heavy duty felt, and I've linked it on our Amazon store. It's, to me, it really feels, this might be a little bit thicker. I've never actually had Lacy's stiff stuff, to be honest. Maybe if Beadsmith carries it, we can get some in so I can try it. Let me know why you why you like it. And yeah, I guess we could dye our own, right, with this white. I think this only comes in white. But we'll take a look, right? So we'll see. We'll see. But I appreciate that that tip. So in the spirit of kind of this thing, right? Uh, agree with Pellon. I love Peltex. We use Peltex a lot in the in the bag making industry. Peltex is made by Pellon. It's kind of like this, but it's stiffer. Okay. Um, but it's really great. I'm sure that we can get Peltex by, and be able to sell it. I just need to decide. And Michelle is saying she prefers the lacy too. So we'll look into it. Okay. Good to know. Felt gets fuzzy, not as good with the E6000. So good to know. Good to know with that. And yeah, Peltex is getting a little harder to find. Joann's was really the place for Peltex. And as we all know, Peltex, our Joann's got bulldozed down. It was really sad. I have not been able to drive by it. It's a big hole in the ground now. So what I'm going to do, I got some ultra suede. We've really expanded our ultra suede selection, color selection. So I grabbed some of that. I also started, this is that Frida kit, the Frida Stitch In. I made a bunch, so we still have plenty. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize her. I'm going to put her on this epic bag that I made. I think it might be kind of fun. I mean, more is more, right? Let me go back here. Let me lift this up. So here's the bag. So I don't know. It might be kind of cool to do kind of multiple Fridas because this one is on, this is the Viva la Vida that I did with my embroidery machine. So maybe having multiple Fridas here, or I could put her so maybe she doesn't distract. Maybe I'll put her, because I like the front to look as good as the back. Maybe she belongs, I don't know, back here maybe, right? So if you, on your bag, you can get a head start. This comes in a warm, which is this one, and it comes in a cool. Do I have the cool here? I don't think I do, but it's on the website. And you can take a look at that. This was the first Frida Stitch In kit right here that we did. This one sold out pretty quickly. I made a much more limited supply on that too, but this would look really cool on the back. And I could put a few of these on here, right? Like that. I think it would look good. So why not? I still have one. I ordered one of these Frida kits, but sorry, that's mine. I'll make another one. I've got some fun stitch in kits that I've been hoarding the fabric. So we'll see. I'll get those out. These do have the felt on the back just because I like the colors. So anywho, so there's that. All right. So yeah, so this is what I've been thinking. Okay. Let me just kind of walk myself through this and see what I have. I want to get one of these cuffs. You know, Emily did the beaded cuff, right? We also have the beaded bangle, but the beaded cuff you can make a little bit larger or smaller. Unfortunately, oh, the cornflower fabric, Dawn, I'll let you know. That is an Anna Maria. It's not an Alexander Henry. Anna Maria Textiles. I am the biggest fan of her fabric. I get a lot of it. So the cornflower is Anna Maria. There. I'd love to carry it. I know it's another rabbit hole. If anyone wants to invest in our fabric line, let us know. I'd love, love, love to carry some very limited palette, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yes. So these cuffs that we have, Janice, these are going to still be available, I think, right? Or not? Or is this... So the company that we get these from, these and these guys, American company back in Providence, and they are selling. They sold. They've done. They've sold the company to a different findings company. So these are going by the wayside. We made a last order. So when we run out of these bangles, they'll be gone. But thankfully, the new company that we are working with, that it got sold to, thankfully, so the tooling has not been scrapped and sent to the tool yard, we'll still be able to have these cuffs. Okay, so just the way of the world, right? Way of the jewelry world right now. So I'm going to make, I think Emily might have made a template for this cuff, but I'm just going to make a template of it, right? And so what I'm going to do, it's going to be very scientific. Let me get my... Yeah, we have a Tandy leather here in Fresno, which is awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and draw a template, kind of roll it over, right? So, and I'm going to draw it on this side. Now I know this looks a little bit like the dog's breakfast that how I like to say. This is about the center, about right here. So let me show you how, from this crude little drawing, I'll make my template. So I'm going to fold this in half at that half mark, like that. Okay. Oh yeah, the Tandy leather here is in Clovis. If you come to the Metals Retreat that Emily and I are doing here in Clovis in April, signups are going to be here soon. On Sunday, the classes are going to be Friday, Saturday. And Sunday, I'm going to lead kind of an art tour. We're going to go to my studio. And then there are some other really kind of cool art stuff that we're going to do on Sunday. So see how I kind of cut it out around here. I kind of did that in the center. Let's take a look and see what this looks like. Look at, that's not really right. So this is close. So I'm going to come in. And I want this to be slightly larger anyway. So let me do this. I'm also going to fold this into quarters like this, so it'll be symmetrical. This is, oh, and Emily did do her template in her bead embroidery. Thank God for you, Emily. I just want to show you how I would kind of do this, right? This is how I make a lot of my patterns. Okay, fold it in half, so that's even. And then here, so here, this is even, like this. See, that looks a lot better, though this looks still a little funny. I want to go out a little. Let's see how it yeah, and see how when I turn it over, it gives me a little bit of space, which is what I'm looking for. Okay, and if that's my center and I roll it here, good. I've got a little bit of space here and I roll it there. Good. Okay, so I want a little bit of space here. So I'm going to turn this over. Let me straighten this out. Like this. Let me fold it in half again to make sure everything is even. Now I'm going to draw it's under Bead Embroidery, JP, I think, is where it is. Tell me I've got a little ruler here somewhere. I do. Good. Okay, so I am going to use my clear ruler here. Okay. And I'm going to, no, not yet. I'm going to put this, I'm going to outline this on my Ultra Scope. Okay. And choose a color you like. I chose this kind of felt like fall. So I'm going to try and conserve. And I'm just going to use my pencil. You could make this template out of cardstock. This can also be along the back. Let me use something that you can see a little bit better. I don't want to get too crazy. Let me try this skinny pen. Yeah, that's okay. So I also want to make this a little bit larger. There we go. We can see that okay. Then you can see it'll come around the outside. I am going to, that's about, I'm going to measure it. I think I'll be safe if I go in about 1/8 of an inch. Let me get something a little firmer on the bottom. Let me use this lid. Okay, these rulers, let me get in a little tighter. This is that Omnigrid ruler that we use for quilting and stuff, right? Let me get a little tighter in here. Okay. So see how, and this is just how when I draw a pattern and I need to add a seam allowance or something, it's very similar. I'm going to do this with this black pen. This is a really skinny pen. It's a 0.3. Okay. You could use a disappearing pen, but it's going to disappear. I'm going to bead over this, so I'm not going to worry. And I also really want you to see what this looks like too, right? So take a look on this curve. See, there's a 1/8. These are This is an inch ruler across. So that's a quarter, that's a half, that's 3/4, that's 1 inch. The small ones are an eighth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'm going to line up that little hash, and I'm going to draw that line. So see, that's my interior. If I had a French curve, those of you who have taken my classes in France. Oh, and just an FYI, I was just texting with my buddy Jen. I think I have 2 spaces left to come sew with me in France. We're going to make a jacket, and it's going to be a freaking amazing. Okay, so see how I've got that. Whoops, you cannot see that. Sorry. Here's that 1/8. It's a little choppy because this isn't a curve, but just keep moving it, right? Just take it in slow little bits. And then you can freehand this. I can see that this is about 1/8, right? That's a little wrinkly. It doesn't matter, right? If I had my French curve, that would be okay. Now I'll bring it here. And we're just gonna kind of add. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding a line of demarcation that I'm not going to bead past. Okay? I mean, it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect because you are going to bead over this. You're going to bead an edge. But again, I'm using a dark pen so you can see this. You can use like a really light pencil like this. Okay? Like this. And yeah, just freeform it too. Whoops, this pencil doesn't have a lead. Let me get another one. These are my favorite, these old school Papermate sharp writers. I don't think they make these anymore, and I've been hoarding them. They're my favorite. So see, I can get, see, that makes a pretty good line that you can see like that, but I'm going to keep going with my pen. I love a 0.3. As Miranda says, Kate, you love a scratchy ass pen. And I do. I can't help it. I love a skinny pen. Okay. So there is my light. So if you're using a dark, you can get like a gel pen. Here's a gel roller. Let's see what it looks like on the back. You know, I don't have anything dark, but I bet this would show up like a gel pen that's light. You can also use, you know, they come in white. So I would just use that. Right? Oh, are they still around, JP? That's good. I'm glad. For a while, maybe it was during the pandemic, I couldn't find them, but this Sharp Writer number 2, my fave. If you ever, I shouldn't say this, if you ever feel the need to send a pick-me-up gift, that Sharp pens are like my kryptonite. So you can see here, I kind of come here. This is it's a little wide, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's a little tighter. So maybe I'll just come in and do this. Okay. Because I want something that is, this side looks a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. I want something like all of this edge is going to be tucked under. So I'm not worrying about it. Okay. What I'm worrying about is if I'm doing the cuff, I want to do this stuff. I want to focus on the inside. Then once I translate it, I cut it out and move it to this cuff, then I'll fine tune it, right? So I might even give myself, if I hold it here, or download Emily's template, right? But I wanted to give you kind of the way that I call this, my friend Laura calls this whizzy whack, where you kind of measure things and kind of cut them to fit. The whizzy whack school of sewing. And yeah, that looks right. That looks pretty good. Okay. This pen brand is, I think, it's Pilot is what it is. It's a Pilot High-Tech C 0.3. I love a 0.3. I have a whole bunch of 0.3 sitting right here in front of me. So good. Okay, so now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to try and figure out where the center of this is. I might be off, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, don't worry. We've got other things to worry about. Remember, sometimes on these rulers, there's a little ending right there. So make sure that you're, like I'm going to measure, I think that's from the end of the cuff there to like the end of the cuff there. Just to double check, I'm going to get my tape measure. 6 inches. Yeah, that looks about right. 6, yep, right on the money, just about. So this here is my center, okay? So I'm just going to make a hash mark. I know this is all dark, but I'm going to cover it. So I'm not worried, and I want you to see this. So there's the center, right? Now I'm going to, let's see, how far across is this? This is about 1.5 inches across. So that means that it's about 3/4 of an inch. 1, 2, 3. That's about the center. Make it about as even as I can. Okay. There we go. So now I kind of have a guide. Okay. So if I want to put something in the middle, and I don't know what I want to do. I've got something to go for. I thought what I would do, and I might glue these in. I probably should have glued these earlier, but let's just glue, and then I can stitch them in too. I think I'm going to use E6000. I've got some here. Because I'm thinking about a design. I'm kind of thinking about this, right? Since it's kind of quote unquote spooky season, we've got some of these little skulls. What else do we have that I wanted to use? I need to get some more of those in. I just have been a little bit lazy about ordering them. I think we have some of those flowers, those aluminum flowers that you've been asking me for. I'll get to that this week. Here's some. So I'm just going to glue some of these elements down. You know, we don't have the flat sugar skull beads, though I just got an email from one of my vendors. Maybe I should get some of those in. Would you guys like them? Is it too late? I don't think it is. I bet we can order some in to do that, to get those in. Okay. I could stitch that, but let's just, oh good, and this is a brand new E6000. Do I have one that's open? I shouldn't be wasteful. Though it's hard not to be wasteful, because you just want to be slapdash. There, that one's open. I have all my glues sitting up in a little thing like this. Okay, yes. And we have some sugar skulls that are a little bit larger. I want to get something that is a little bit bigger too. We have definitely had them. This will give it a little bit of texture, right? I want my let me see if I can find them around there. I want my tweezers. Hang on. Let me see, because I'm going to do a little bit of gluing first, and then we're going to let that set for a second. I had my tweezers here somewhere. I'm still not quite completely unpacked from the bead retreat. I don't know about you guys, but I pack all that stuff up and then I can't find it. Are they in the drawer? No, see, they should be right here. Let me see if they're in this drawer. No, do I have to steal Miranda's? Does Miranda have some? My kingdom for some tweezers. And I don't want to use well, I'll use my ball. One more place. I'm going to look one more place. But it's hard. You should get all of your tools back into place. But no, negative. Oh, I see something I think I can use. I have some old metal smithing tweezers, I think, that are sitting here. Are they? Yeah, I'll use these. They're kind of my old metal smithing tweezers, and the ends are kind of funky. Here, let me see if I can fix them. And then I'll find my knotting tweezers. These I've used for soldering, so the tips are funny. But that's okay. Better than nothing. And then I'll look. I know, without Miranda, I'm lost, right? Okay, so I'm going to just do this on here. Let me put, I want this. I had a tube of these gem duos. Okay. I'm going to put, that's why we sell E6000 in such small little tubes. Come on. Open that up. Let me get one of these so I'm ready to move it around. Okay. This is a technique that Janice and I used to call puddling. Well, we must still call it puddling. When we would make Yeah, this E6000, this one goes in the round file. Let me try another one that's open. And if that one doesn't work, then I'll open a new one. But that's what, no. I'm just going to open a new one. That's why we sell them in such small tubes, because E6000, it just dries out if you don't use it, and it gets really gummy. Yeah, see, this is a lot better. So back in the day, when we would make, it was a class we had called glitzy earrings. It's when those point back and flat back Swarovskis were thick on the ground, right? There was a lot. And we would make this earring by putting a puddle of glue. In this case, it would be epoxy. And I'm kind of putting this out in a diamond shape. Okay, with my little spreader. Okay, can you see that? Now, let me zoom in a little bit. Now I'm going to puddle. Okay. So I'm going to start puddling by putting that skull right there. That E6000 really grabs it. Now, this needs a little more glue. I'm going to do this in different colors. Let's do a yellow. You kind of have to work kind of quickly. Let's do that red. Come on. Okay. Now watch. Because we don't have to stitch every, let's see, every bead on here, right? I mean, you could, but I want to lay some things out like this. So I've got things to work around. Okay. So I also have, I don't know, I'm in the mood for orange, I think. Let's see if I can get this open. Sometimes my hands don't want to open it. I've got these Tutti Frutti Cantaloupe. Where's my E6000? Right here. I'm going to puddle. Let me get a, I need a, oh, those are nice. I need a baggie here to work on. I know, I love these aluminum. I want to do a class where we use recycled aluminum tins and do some riveting. I have a collection of tins, but I gotta get some more. That's a really fun thing to do with those old colorful tins. So now these gem duos, I'm going to drop it in the puddle, get a little bit on the back, Let's put it there, because there's still going to be room for me to come in and bead around this. But gluing with this E6000, I think, is a good way to go to get your centerpiece. Yeah, just look at her. It's good. And I like the way this orange looks. I haven't even dumped out the Fall Carnival yet. I have no idea what's going to happen. What a surprise. Now, something like this, I also pulled, we've got these Nun Design bezels. And this is what I was searching high and low for to find for you. But you could do something like this, right? Trace this out on the Ultra Suede. You don't have to stitch. Glue a bunch of stuff and then just stitch a few things in, right? Shove it in that bezel. Look at how great it would look. I don't know why. I want, of course, I'm biting off more than I can chew with this cuff. But look at there. Okay. Now, I have left over, remember the earrings, right? I guess this is my color story for right now. These are the dancer earrings that I'm working on that we're going to do next Wednesday. Do I have any beads? What beads did I use for those? What are that? Where is that project? There those are. Right there? No? No. They gotta be here somewhere. Excuse me, I didn't mean to yawn. Here they are. I have a few of these 4mm burnt umber. Yeah, you could do this with epoxy sculpt. 100% you could. And I think it's time to dump out Fall Carnival too. I need another one of these plastic bins for it. Hang on. Let's see. Fall Carnival. Let's take a look. Oh, just look at her. Gorgeous. So there's a little bit of everything in here. Yeah, good. Okay. My ideas are honing. I'm going to come in and let me... Yeah, have you been watching Christy Friesen and her adventures in her residency in Ireland? Isn't it great? I'm so jealous. She's having a really... Well, I'm not jealous. I'm happy for her. She's having a great time. We're going to keep doing this puddling. I want kind of a luscious piece for it. I have, talking about 20s dresses, I have a 1920s dress, and it's in pretty good shape. It's all beaded. I've worn it a few times. I have done some reinforcing with it. It's black and the edges are all beaded. I wore it, Ma, you remember when we went to see the Mavericks with Shirley? I wore it to see the Mavericks back in the 90s, I think. So I've worn it a few times. It's really a gorgeous piece. I bought it, I think, at the San Francisco Vintage clothing store or clothing expo that they used to have. See how I'm just dropping those in? Yeah, Christy Friesen, if you know Christy, she's part of the Great Bead Extravaganza. I think her Facebook group is called Christy's Creative Neighborhood. She is an amazing mixed media artist. She's really incredible. And she's been around for a long time. She works a lot with like mosaic techniques, collage techniques. Right now, she is in Ireland on a residency, and you can join her Facebook group. Tell her I sent you over there. She's pretty amazing. She's does really great stuff. She's super whimsical. Just a really great human being. Oops, I missed one on that side. So these are 4mm fire polish. I'm not bothering to stitch them. Oops. Right there. Repeat vintage. Yes, my friend. That's right. I would go to Repeat Vintage when we would go to Ashland. That was the best vintage store. I bet I still have some things from Repeat Vintage. So good. It was right there, right by Lithia Park. So fun. So see, just take your time and let me get that centered. Let me get this in. But gem duos are great for this. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm just making this up. Just find a center that you like. You got to work kind of fast because see, my E6000 is starting to set up again here. Right? Yeah, the selection was so good. I know 100% I still have, I think it's probably from maybe the early 1960s. It's a chiffon dress. It's kind of green and black, and it has these blue roses on it. I know 100% I got that at Remix. And I think I also got a 1950s. Is that everything? One there. There. Here, it goes over here. I think I also got that one there. Has some organza on the top, but that was a must shop for me. Curated vintage now is so expensive. Back in the day in the 80s, no one wanted to wear 1960s, 50s dresses except for me. So I still have my collection. Okay. So there we go. All right. Whoops, this one kind of, I pressed it a little too much. Center that out. I feel like I want one more Yeah. One more gem duo there and one over there. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. And also, Margaret, wasn't there a record store that was right next door? That's where I bought all my Generation X albums on vinyl that I still have. I'd always buy a record. I think it was close. It was on that on that little shopping area. That's also where they had like the dollar beer happy hour. Ask me how I know. But there's this woman, I don't know. I have these fantasies sometimes of opening like a big giant like crazy store that sells everything. And Janice, please don't let that strike fear in your heart. We're not going retail. But there is this woman, some of you may follow her on social. She's in Louisiana, in New Orleans. She's an older woman, and she has this shop that sells, I mean, it's super old school. If you Google, like, she's really having kind of a viral moment. I would Google, like, genteel New Orleans shop run by an older woman. I don't know. You'll find her. And she does these really, and she has all this kind of really interesting stuff. Like she wears gloves or sells gloves, and she talks about like your glove size and hats and stuff like that. Yeah, the record store, it's where, I don't know, maybe they sold other stuff. It was kind of maybe kind of quote unquote a little head shoppy, maybe. I don't know. But that's where I'd get a lot of records too. It was right there. It was right on that strip. Okay, so see what I've got here? And I'm going to just kind of press it all down. None of this is stitched, but it's ready to be stitched around. Okay, like this. Let me see if I can. Yvonne LaFleur. Thank you, JP. That's exactly her. She is a kick. Whoops, sorry. I didn't mean to pause that. She is so good to watch. So there it is. Can you see that? This would be a good time to take a screenshot. Okay. So now what I think I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to work my way out. So not unlike this focal, I'm just going to start stitching. Now, you may want to supplement your mix here with like seed bead color that is complementary, right? I use these. I've got a ton of these. This is that metallic light bronze. So I think this is good enough to, I would, if I weren't doing this live for you right now, I would let this sit. But I'm just gonna stitch. Okay. Get any color that you like. I love this light bronze, so that's what I'm going to use. It kind of has an antique feel to it. I used it a lot in this old school one, and then I'm going to start incorporating some stuff from this. But I think I just want to get some kind of focal around here. So let me get out my needles. I'm going to use KO for it. I think I'm just going to use sharps. Okay, that's what I'm going to use. KO, let me see what I have laying around. Where's my KO box? Here it is. KO thread. Use whatever color you want. I think I'm going to use that gold, right? It kind of matches the back. Okay. So let's go ahead and stitch around. I'm going to do about half a wingspan from my outstretched arm to my nose. Might be a little long, but whatever. I think I'm going to give it just a little bit of waxing here. The dull-tipped needles, Terry, are the tapestry needles. That's correct. That's correct. So what I do when I wax, I first grab my needle here and I'm going to needle my thread. Come on, there we go. And I'm going to come in and now I'm going to wax it once it's on the needle, because also the needle kind of allows me to have something to hang on to. Okay. I think my morning's going better. Thanks, you guys. I feel a little better. I don't know what, I don't know. It's just, you know, how sometimes you're just discombobulated and you think something's going to go like it's supposed to go, and, you know, I don't know. So I'm stoked. So thanks. Bead therapy is real. Now look at how great this would, if I put this over the top, I mean, heck, I could just cut this out and stick it right here. I'm tempted, but I really want a cuff. So I'm going to do it, right? No, and you all are here for me, which is great for all of us. You know what I mean? Our newest hire, Emily 2, who is working in fulfillment for us, so it'll get our fulfillment times back up to what they should be. I was talking to her about, you know, a little bit about the bead shop culture and a little bit about what we do here and stuff. And I talked to her about, you know, about our customers and our customer base and stuff, and how important you all are. You know, you're like our bead family, right? So so she's indoctrinated to that bead shop culture. So, you know, we're very, very grateful. So here's this. There's a little knot that I tied. I'm not using tapestry needles, Mary. I'm using sharps. They're small. They fit in my hand well. Again, I should really let this glue down, but I want to show you kind of how I'm going to stitch around this. So I would let this sit probably overnight. Yeah, we'll get Emily on camera as soon as she's comfortable. I told her, I said, don't worry, I'm not going to put you on camera right away. But Miranda found her. She's a friend of her and JoJo, so it's great to kind of, you know, hire in the family for sure. I'm going to put on 3 beads right here. And I'm just going to come down, needle down next to that super duo. Sorry, I know that's kind of hard to see. I'll show you as soon as I get it. Now you could put this in a hoop. You've seen me when I did the Gatsby bangle. I tacked this down into a hoop onto some interfacing. I kind of like this. What I did here was, and it's kind of hard to see. But I put on 4 beads, and you can see they're kind of raised right there. So I kind of like the way that raised looks. So I'm going to come up, I'm going to needle up next to this. I'm actually going to needle up through that one right there. I need to be kind of careful as I hold this because I don't want everything to get out of whack. There we go, tighten it up. And put on 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'll go down to where that point of the super duo is. And this is just a running stitch. Don't second guess yourself here. Just go needle up, needle down. Right? There we go. Look at how nice that looks. And again, with the 4, it makes it kind of sit up a little bit. I'm going to finish going around this super duo, and then I really am going to let this kind of sit. So I'm going to come up through this super duo at the point so it's anchored. Whoops, right there. Like that. And now 1, 2, 3, 4. Needle down at this point of the gem duo. Comme ça. There we go. Get that over there. Like that. And now I'll do my last one. I'm going to needle up through the last bead. So that last bead is sitting kind of flat. But I can come in and maybe I'll put a little picot or something. I feel like dimensional embroidery is kind of the way I want to go with this. If you look up, there's an embroiderer. He's also a really great fiber artist and teacher. He does patterns and stuff. His name is Kenneth King. And Kenneth, my buddy Mary Cravens, knew Kenneth back in the day. Remember in the like mid to late 80s, early 90s when Elton John was wearing all of those super encrusted like vests and hats and stuff? Kenneth did all of that bead embroidery. So look him up. It's kind of gone out of fashion, though I feel like it's kind of coming back into fashion. This little, I might have to glue that back down. Again, I'm playing with fire with this. You really want to let all of this glue kind of sit. Let me see if I can get this. But yeah, if you look up Kenneth, he also does like sewing classes and stuff. He does a really great like jeans making class. He and my friend Mary filmed a pilot for a PBS show that didn't get picked up. That was kind of a bummer. But he's a good guy. And he's really great at embellishing. So I want to show you this, how you can go back in and you can fix it. Okay, and it's King. Let me look it up. Let me make sure I'm not steering you wrong. Kenneth King. Yeah, here he is. I believe that's him. Let me just make sure. Yeah, here he is. I'll put it in the chat. There he is. Really cool stuff. Really great. I'm going to come back in here. See, there's a little bit of space there. It's kind of hard to see. So I'm just going to needle up really carefully through that last seed bead and fill in, yeah, fill in just with a couple more beads, and that will fix it. Yeah, doesn't the seed beads, Ma, doesn't it make it? Whoops, I came back up in the wrong one. Sorry, let me go back down. And again, Rome was not built in a day, and neither will your bead embroidery. There we go. Needle up right there. I did see that, Michelle. Elton John had his kneecaps made into jewelry, which I just love. I love it. I saw them. I'm like, oh, they look great. It sounds kind of macabre, but they really are cool. He's such a cool dude. Okay, so see how I've come around there? Notice this flower is, this is really moving around. So I'm going to stop screwing with this and I'm going to glue everything back down, right? So really let this be a lesson to let your centerpiece dry before you start stitching. Let me do this. I'm going to glue down just a couple more things, and I'm going to just lift this. I'm going to lift this. Let's get a little more glue because we don't want this to come apart. If you really let yours dry before you start screwing around with it, let this be a lesson. You'll be fine. Okay. So there's that skull, and I've got to get this flower back in there. But there's usually nothing that you can't fix. I'm going to go ahead and glue. I'm going to use a few more super duos. Not super duos, gem duos. Come on. I'm going to use my all. Give it my all. And none of these beads have been sewn. These have all been glued. Now there isn't any glue in the holes. So if you feel like you want to come back and stitch these in, you could. But this E6000, this isn't going anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch around, and this is my plan. I'm going to stitch around all of these. I'm going to come in, stitch here, stitch, stitch, stitch. Maybe stitch around like this one and this one because there's plenty of room. And then I think I'm going to stitch around this whole thing. Okay. I want to add some more of these gem duos right here. And I think, because I still have some glue here, it'll give me something to kind of, you know, some anchors right here. I think I'm going to do them this way. And I'm just going to do this by eye on that center line. Again, I could stitch them in. Sorry, did I freeze? Hang on. There we go. I think I've unfrozen. I'll do the other side. Come on. There we go, like that. And I think I'm going to do 3. Okay. I can always add more. Where's my board? And just eyeball it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to come around here. So see, there's a little bit of extra glue around that one. I'm not going to worry. Oh yeah, the left one is lower. Thank you. Just move it. Does that look about right? Close enough. Thanks, Terry. Make sure that one. This is going to have so many beads and things in it that I'm not going to worry. Gotta work quick. This E6000. Is there some on the back there? You don't want to over glue. Like my friend Laura says, ... not a lot. Okay. So there's the 2. Let me just put a 3rd and see what that's like. No, I'm going to keep it here. I feel like that's right. If I want to add something like that later, I can. The only thing about E6000 is you get these strings. So just get rid of them. Anything else I might want to glue? Let's see. This is such a mix. So random. These are really good, these kind of flower. I think I'll stitch these on. There's some of those flower. Sequins. I'm just laying a few things out just to see. Oh, these are a little close. Got to be able to get that flower sequin in there. There we go. Oh, the top gem duo. I think it can be straightened. I don't know. It might, and you know what? When the beads are around it, it's going to be okay. Let me get those out. Let me see. Yeah, the glue is pretty much done. So, maybe I can I lift it? Ugh, no, I'm not going to screw with it. I'll just fill it in with seed beads. It'll be fine. It'll be a little wonky, but meh. See, so that's what happens. Let that be your lesson. See, I'm picking this up. So I need to put this aside and let this dry. Because the E6000 does bond pretty quickly. But I just wanted to show you that stitch. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do with this, I will go around this. Maybe I'll go around this a couple of times Okay. Right? Go around it. Maybe somehow connect this out. There are some turquoise chips. I don't know how many you get. But we could put some of those in too. Then I think I might just fill this in encrusted Gatsby style, because there's all kinds of really cool things in here. So if I just kind of sprinkled it on so you can kind of see, right? Maybe. But that there's some kind of through line with these that kind of, make some sense out of the chaos there. I don't know, but I think that's where I've landed. So for this, if you want to do something like this, what you're going to need is you're going to need some ultra suede, right? Let me just slide that off. Whoops, not those. You're going to need some ultra suede. You're going to need some like gem duos or whatever. Let me see. You're going to need, I think this needs this though. Can I get rid of that? It's on there. Let me see. I think I want to move this down. Doesn't matter that there's glue. Okay. I think, don't you feel like this needs to be there? I think that's better, right? I think that's better. Yeah. And it doesn't matter, right? Then I have these. Then I want to put this out there. That composition is better. Don't you think? Right? I think that's better. I'm not going to worry about that one. Let me glue those down. It felt a little not quite right. But something like this, as I say, this is something that evolves for sure. Get yourself some Miyukis. If you don't want a cuff, create something like this. This does not have to be stitched. Put it on the back of ultra suede. First, what I would do is I would outline this bezel in your ultra suede. Oh, and FYI, I didn't even mention it. Bezels and KO, I marked down 10%. The cuffs, all of that. So if you go to the link in your newsletter or on the pull down, the Bead Embroidery pull down, it's there. These are all on sale. These are on sale. These are on sale. All the KO is on sale. Okay, so double it up with that September coupon and you'll get some savings. It's a good time to stock up. I put my glue here. Can I get this one up? I don't know. I keep saying it doesn't bother me, but I might be lying. Can I get it without? This one's on there. It's almost off. There we go. All right. Let's make it even. I know no one will notice, but then I'll come back You know what I say, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. So let me just get it in there. Okay. All right. That looks good. And again, the glue that's around it, don't worry. Doesn't matter. This glue that's here, you can stitch through the E6000, no problem. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Let's get this one right there. Get it on that center line if you can. And I will let this sit till tomorrow. I know, Michelle, I will always notice it. I pretend that I don't care, but I really do. Remember how I started with that little puddle of glue, right? That puddling technique. This piece of glue is going to bug me. There we go. Now let's just put this out here. Gonna eyeball it again. Press it in so it makes contact. Again, see there's glue coming out and around it. Not gonna worry. Thanks, JP, for that. I really appreciate it. Margaret, don't worry. It's not, it ain't no thing. I like it when you guys help me out here. Okay, and this one's gonna go, I don't know, about right there. Now I'll press it in. Okay. So if you want to take a screenshot, let me do this. Let me put that one up there to remind you, you could do something like this, maybe not with those two sides, but this, and then fill it in. There we go. Let me see if I can get that nice and clear. That's pretty good. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. A sand and rubber eraser will take off that E6000. That's good to know. I'm sure we can pick that up at the art store. But I'm not going to even worry too much. I'm just going to cover it. So there it is. I think this is a pretty good start for that. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. All right. Well, we talked about a lot of stuff. Don't forget the let me move me to the other side. The sewing signups are here. I'm going to pick a date for the bag class. I'll also let you know, I'm going to work on this today, getting this to some kind of place where we can print out the patches. So the patches will be available to sell just as patches. We'll have the bag kits just as bag kits. And then we'll also sell the handles if you want the handles. I just have to find all of that. So look for that to be up in the next couple of weeks or so. Okay. And then I'll pick a date. It'll be a Saturday. It'll be probably a one-day class. It'll be recorded so that if you don't want to sew along with me, you'll be able to rewatch it and sew along at your pace. I'm also going to work on, for those of you who sign up for the virtual classroom, there'll be an email that will just go out to you in your virtual classroom materials. It's not going to be open to everyone. So I will monitor that email, and that'll kind of be a good teacher-student communication. I may, if this goes well, it would be kind of fun to have other teachers do virtual classes, to come in and teach their specialties. I really want to focus on sewing, but I think other crafts, needle crafts, I don't know, painting even might be kind of fun. I don't know. It's something that I've tossed around, and I really want to make it happen. Just as a reminder for next week. So I'm going to be gone, but I'm going to be working in Accessible. I'm just going to visit some friends on the East Coast. So you'll see some East Coast inspiration. Paper arts, Pam Chavez, you're right here in Fresno. You did that paper dyeing. Pam did this class. She was in my bag class. She did this class dyeing paper with natural dyes. It was really cool. So I don't know, think about it, right? We could do an online class. You know, it would be fun. The paper was just so delicious. My mom's like me. I have several classes. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, right? Why not? Let's expand our horizons. So yeah, so I will be around, but and felting. Marianne, you do felting. Pardon me. Let me drink some of this. Which would be amazing. So let's see how it goes. I mean, I know the technology. Dyeing silk thread, 100%. Painting that thread, right? It would be really, really fun. So let's see where it goes. So what I meant to say next Wednesday's broadcast is going to be pre-recorded. I'm going to finish the Lola earrings and show you how to stitch that fluted ruffle to the top. So that's going to be that. Janice and I also have some drops that are going to happen next week. The following Wednesday, I think it's the following Wednesday, we have Danielle Wicks coming with a brand new project. We've got brand new beads for it. So we're going to drop the beads next week, which is going to be great. And then she'll be with us, whatever that is, the 7th, maybe the following Wednesday. We're also working on some other bead drops. We've got some pearls, that second pearl drop, some other things. And don't forget that on the 1st, we've got a monthly mix that's dropping that Miranda did that's based on Twilight. I know, millennial, but it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's called Forks, named after where it takes place. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous mix. So that's what's happening. So even though I won't be here live and do that, right? I know, Terry, I'll try and do that. You know, I try and schedule everything in advance so you guys can pregame. I hope that with a little more help here with Emily too, I'll have a little more time freed up. I feel like, and maybe that's why I was a little grumpy today, to be completely honest, I'm just overloaded a little. Not a lot, but today I was feeling it a little bit. So I think it's a great, great, great idea. I will, but I'll put it in the newsletter, kind of what's coming down, so you guys can kind of start, um, you know, pre-game. I know pre-gaming, right? What there was one more thing. Oh, I did want to mention, and I don't like to mention this a lot, but we do have a coffee account. These Saturday stitch-ins and stuff, they're a little, they're kind of some extra content that we do. And we have a coffee account. It's there at beadshop.com. The whole idea about it is that for the price of a coffee, you toss us a little bit of a gratitude or a tip or whatever you want to call it. It's also at the top of our YouTube channel, our coffee link. It is never, ever expected and always, always appreciated, especially in these days where money is so super tight. So if you're inclined, and I know a lot of you out there have actually made this a monthly donation, which we are very, very appreciative of. But yeah, you can go over to coffee, ko-fi.com/beadshop.com. And for the price of a coffee, you make a little contribution. Always appreciated, but again, never, never expected. So thank you for that. Thank you for being here today. We always appreciate you. And thanks. We'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye, everybody.